All right, today we're going to be writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. In our last set of notes, I didn't make a video, but we learned that parallel lines have the same slope because they'll never, ever touch. So they'll have the same slope because they'll increase or decrease at the same rate. And perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes. So what that means is we are going to take the original slope and flip the numbers and then change the sign. So it goes from positive to negative or negative to positive. Okay. So how can you write equations of lines that are parallel and perpendicular? Okay, so write an equation of a line that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line. So one, you need to make sure you know if you are writing a parallel equation or a perpendicular equation. This will determine what slope you use. Okay, so the first one, because we are finding a parallel line, we are going to use the same slope. Okay, and it says it wants it through 0.45 and parallel to y equals 2x minus 2. Okay, so your first step is to take the equation it gives you, which is the original line that's already graphed. Okay, and it wants you to use the slope of this line. So the slope of this line is actually 2. And because we want to use a parallel, we want to create a parallel line, we're going to use m equals 2 as well, because we must have the same slope. Okay, so our m is 2. And it gives us that the new line goes through 4, 5. So our step 2 is to use m equals 2, our slope. And then we're going to use 4, 5 to create a new equation. So 4, 5 are going to be your x and y values. And remember, we've done this before, writing an equation of line with a slope and a point on the line. We're just going to use y equals mx plus b and plug in what we know in order to find b. Okay, so our y value is 5. Our slope is 2. And then our x is 4. And again, we're solving for b. All right. So then 2 times 4 is 8. And then we're solving for b. So we're going to subtract 8. 8 minus 8 is 0. So then we're left with b equals, and then 5 minus 8 will get us a negative 3. So our b value, our y-intercept, is negative 3. Okay, so our third step is just to use the new slope and then the new our y-intercept that we found and put it in an equation. So we have y equals 2x minus 3. And that's our equation. All right. So now we're going to write an equation of a line that passes through a given point and is perpendicular. So again, you must know if you're writing a parallel line or you're writing a perpendicular line. Because we are writing a perpendicular line, we are going to use the opposite reciprocal. Okay, so that means we're going to flip the numbers and change the sign. Okay, so we're going to use this equation right here. Okay, we're going to use the m. So the m of this line is negative 1 over 3. So because I want to create a perpendicular line, which is what that symbol means right there. It's like an upside down T. All right, I have to flip the numbers, so 3 over 1, and change the sign. So we're going to leave it as positive, which is just a slope of 3. So my m value is 3. And then we're going to plug everything we know into y equals mx plus b. So our m is 3. Our x and y value are negative 2 and negative 2. So we have y equals mx plus b. So our y value is negative 2. Our slope is 3. And our x value is negative 2. And we're solving for b. So 3 times negative 2 is a negative 6. Bringing everything else down. And we're solving for 6. Bless me. And then we're going to add 6. Sorry about that. Okay. And b equals negative 2 plus 6 will be a positive 4. Okay, so our equation, we're going to use our m slope. So y equals our 3x, our slope, our perpendicular slope, and then our b was a plus 4. Okay. All right, you're going to do example 3, but I'm going to help you with the first step. So we're going to write an equation that is parallel to the given line. So we're going to put it through 4, 5, which are our x and y values, but we need to figure out what our slope is. So notice in this equation right here, okay, it's not in y equals mx plus b. We can't totally pick out the slope right here because it's not in y equals mx plus b. So in order to put it there, put it like that in slope-intercept form, we must solve for y. So we have 2x minus y equals 2. Remember, your first step is to move the x. So you're doing this by adding or subtracting. So because it's a positive 2x, we're going to subtract 2x or put a negative 2x. Okay, 2 minus 2 is 0. So we're left with negative y equals 2 minus 2x. Then your second step is to divide the number off of y. So we're going to divide by negative 1 because we want to take that negative away. We want it to be a positive y. Okay, so then we're left with y equals a negative 2 because 2 divided by negative 1 is a negative 2. And then negative 2 divided by negative 1 will actually create a positive 2x. So this is our equation rewritten in y equals mx plus b, so our slope-intercept form. Okay, so the slope of this line is 2. All right, and because we want to use a line that's parallel, we are going to use m equals 2. All right, so our slope is 2, and then our x and y value are 4, 5. I want you to find the new equation. The answer to that will be on the copy of notes on Google Classroom. All right, write an equation of a line that is A, parallel to the given line, and B, perpendicular to the given line. Okay, number 4 says y equals 7. So if we draw like our own little ordered or coordinate plane right there. So if it's ever y equals a number, it's going to be a horizontal line. So here's y. Okay, so whenever it's y equals a number, it intercepts the y-axis at that number. Okay, so if this is 7 right there, it's going to intercept 7 on the y-axis, but it's only going to go through that point. Okay, it has a 0 slope because there's no mx here. Okay, it's a 0 slope. So if I want a line that's parallel, I have to create another horizontal line. Okay, so another horizontal line is just another y equals line. Okay, so I could have done y equals a negative 4, and that's going to be parallel because that line will be down here somewhere. Okay, and that creates a parallel line. Okay, so yesterday in the notes, we learned that all horizontal lines are parallel to each other and all vertical lines are parallel to each other. Okay, so like on this one, when you do it by yourself, it's x equals, so it's a vertical line. Okay, so when you draw a ordered or coordinate plane, if this is negative 12, it's going through, or positive 12, sorry, it's going through the 12 on the x-axis, and it's a vertical line. So something parallel to it also has to be vertical. So it's also going to be an x equals, and you can choose any number. okay? So if I want something that's perpendicular though, perpendicular to a horizontal line would be a vertical line. So something that hits the x-axis. Okay, so if I said x, okay, x is -3, that means it intercepts the x-axis at -3, but when it intercepts our original line, it creates a right angle. Okay, so that would be perpendicular. So all horizontal and vertical lines are perpendicular to each other. So when you go to create a perpendicular line to x equals 12, it needs to be in y equals, because a y equals will create a horizontal line. All right. All right, so example 6 says a boat is traveling parallel to the shoreline and passes through point 9,3. Write an equation that represents the path of the boat. Okay, so if I want something that's parallel to the shoreline, I need to find out what is the slope. Of the shoreline. So when I'm given a graph with a line on it, all I need to do is count rise over run. So I just pick 2 points on that line and count how much it rises versus how much it runs, 1, 2, 3, and then determine if it's positive or negative. So because from the y-axis, it is heading down, okay, it's going to be a -2/3. So that's the slope of the shoreline. And so because I want something that's parallel, okay, I'm going to use the same slope. Okay, so then I go back to what always my step 2 is. Use y equals mx plus b. Plug in my x and y value, which is 9,3, and my slope, which is -2/3, and figure out what b is. I'm going to let the rest of this you try on your own, and the copy of the answer will be on Google Classroom. Bye, guys.